When it comes to saving for retirement in Canada, two of the most powerful tools that you have at your disposal are RRSPs and TFSAs. But understanding how they work, and more importantly, how to use them effectively, can make a huge difference in your financial future. Now is the perfect time to review how these accounts work, understand their tax advantages, and ensure that you're on track. Too many people get to retirement and then they realize that they've missed out on thousands of dollars of tax savings simply because they didn't fully understand how to use the RRSPs and their TFSAs. Let's make sure that this isn't your story. As a Canadian, maximizing your RRSP and TFSA contributions isn't just smart, it can have a huge impact on your financial future. In this video, I'll break down how these accounts function, the key tax benefits they offer, and strategies to maximize your contributions. We're also going to discuss when it makes sense to convert your RRSP into a RRIF. And finally, we're going to cover smart estate planning strategies to ensure that your RRSP and TFSA are passed on efficiently. This is episode 2 of our 12-part series, Second Act. And over the year, I'm going to walk you through how to create a financial retirement plan that fits your needs. Throughout the series, we're going to explore everything from setting clear financial goals to navigating the emotional transition of leaving your workforce and help you feel confident and prepared for every stage of retirement. I would like to take a moment and say thank you to Harvest ETFs, who has partnered with us for the entire series. I'll be talking a little bit more about them later in this video. Today, we'll cover 6 key ways to maximize your retirement savings. An RRSP is one of the most powerful tax savings tools available to Canadians. Every dollar you contribute reduces your taxable income. That means that you will get an immediate tax break. RRSP investments grow tax deferred with taxes paid upon withdrawal, ideally at a lower rate in retirement. The key question is, does deferring taxes work for you? If you are in a high tax bracket now, you expect to be in a lower bracket in retirement, maximizing RRSP contributions makes a lot of sense. Let's look at how an RRSP works. You can contribute to your RRSP until age 71 as long as you have earned income and it's subject to a maximum. There is an exception to the age 71 rule. We're going to talk about that in just a minute here. Now, contributions to your RRSPs do have a limit. It's 18% of your previous year's income. For example, if your 2023 income was $80,000, your RRSP contribution limit for 2024 is $14,400. That's 18% of that $80,000. Now, depending on your marginal tax rate, contributing this amount could reduce your taxable income to $65,600. That could potentially save you thousands of dollars in taxes. Now, some more good news here. Unused contribution room carries forward indefinitely. Even if you didn't contribute the maximum amount in previous years, you can still catch up by using your unused room. And this is especially beneficial if you find yourself in a higher income bracket now than in previous years, allowing you to capitalize on a larger tax deduction. You can check on your CRA My Account for your personal limit. I will put a link in the description of this video. Now, the deadline for contributions is the first 60 days of the new year. If that falls on a weekend or a holiday, it's extended to the next business day. If you're married or in a common law relationship and one spouse has a significantly larger RRSP balance than the other, that can create a higher taxation problem on withdrawals when you do get to retirement. Now, a solution for this is the spousal RRSP. In this type of plan, the higher income spouse contributes to a spousal RRSP in the lower income spouse's name, but the higher income earner actually gets the tax deduction, but the investments belong to the lower income spouse. Now, the goal here is that in retirement, both spouses withdraw similar amounts, and that can keep each in a lower tax bracket. If you do use this strategy, you need to be aware that you have to wait 2 full calendar years before you take the money back out of the spousal RRSP. Otherwise, that income is going to be attributed back to the contributor. Let's look at an example here. Tom earns $150,000 a year and has a $600,000 RRSP. Susan earns $50,000 a year and has a $100,000 RRSP. Now, without any planning, Tom's future RRIF withdrawals, that could push him into a higher tax bracket, while Susan will remain in a lower bracket. So the strategy here is that Tom contributes $20,000 a year to a spousal RRSP in Susan's name. Now, over time, their RRSPs will equalize. That will allow them to withdraw income evenly in retirement, and that will reduce their overall tax burden. A best practice here is that if one spouse earns significantly more than the other, consider contributing to a spousal RRSP to keep the future taxable income balanced between both spouses. There is a way that you can continue to your RRSP past age 71. If you have a younger spouse, you can continue contributing to a spousal RRSP until they turn 71. So this will allow you to defer taxation beyond your own age 71 deadline. Now that's best for high-income retirees with younger spouses who want to extend tax-deferred savings. David, if you're watching, you owe me one. RRSPs are all about tax deferral, but the tax-free savings account is all about tax-free growth. Contributions are not deductible, but withdrawals, including the growth, is completely tax-free. Now, unlike an RRSP, money inside your TFSA that can be withdrawn at any time without tax consequences. This makes it ideal for both long-term retirement planning and short-term financial goals. Now, the TFSA was introduced back in 2009 as a very powerful tool for Canadians to grow their savings tax-free. For 2025, the annual TFSA contribution limit is $7,000, and since that limit is indexed to inflation, it will increase over time. If you were at least 18 years old back in 2009, your lifetime contribution room is now $102,000. Like an RRSP, the unused room carries forward so you can catch up later. Now, the minimum age to open a TFSA varies by province, as some provinces consider the legal age of majority to be 19 instead of 18. The biggest benefit? Those completely tax-free withdrawals. Those make the TFSA an incredibly flexible savings tool for both short-term goals and for long-term wealth building. You can withdraw money for any purpose, buying a car, taking a vacation, covering an emergency expense without worrying about any tax consequences. Plus, the withdrawn amount is added back to your contribution room the next year. That allows you to recontribute in the future. At the end of the year in which you turn 71, this tax deferral party you've been enjoying is over. You have to wind up your RRSP. Now, Canadians do have a few choices when they arrive at this pivotal moment. The first most common option is to convert your RRSP to a RRIF or a registered retirement income fund. Now, this option allows you to continue deferring taxes while setting up a structured withdrawal plan. Once your RRSP is converted into a RRIF, you must start taking out minimum annual withdrawals. These start at 5.28% and then gradually increase each year. From age 95 and up, the withdrawal rate is 20%. Now, all RRIF withdrawals are taxable, so planning is a key. This option is best for retirees who want flexibility in managing their withdrawals. This also works for those looking to split their RRIF income with a spouse if you're age 65 or over. Now, episode 3 in this series is all about generating tax-free income in retirement, so check that out when you have the chance. Another option for winding up your RRSP at age 71 is to use the funds to purchase an annuity from a life insurance company. And this provides guaranteed income for life or for a set period. It reduces the risk of outliving your savings. Now, there are several types of annuities to choose from. For example, there's a life annuity. This pays you a fixed income for life. It ensures that you never run out of money. There's a term certain annuity. This will provide income until a specific age, for example, 90, after which the payments will stop. There's joint annuities. This will continue payments to a surviving spouse after your passing. Now, these are just a few examples here. There are more varieties of annuities available. Annuities offer predictable, worry-free income, but they do come with some trade-offs. Once your RRSP funds are converted into an annuity, you no longer have access to the capital. Also, if it's not indexed for inflation, annuity payments will lose purchasing power over time. Lastly, income received from an annuity from an RRSP is fully taxable. This option is best suited for retirees who want stable guaranteed income and are concerned about possibly outliving their savings. Now, while it is possible to withdraw 100% of your RRSPs in a single year, this option is rarely advisable. That's due to the heavy tax consequences. If you do that, the entire amount withdrawn is added to your taxable income that could push you up into the highest tax bracket. Now, in some provinces, this could result in a tax bill of 50% or more on your RRSP balance, and this approach is typically only suitable in very specific circumstances. For example, a retiree with very little other income, this allows them to withdraw the funds while staying in a lower tax bracket, or in the case of serious health concerns where someone may not live long enough to benefit from a RRIF or from an annuity and they want full access to their savings. Now, the best news here, you don't have to choose just one option. Splitting the RRSP between a RRIF and an annuity can offer a balanced approach to managing your retirement income. Let's look now at some practical real-world scenarios showing how Canadians could decide between RRIFs, annuities, lump sums, or a combination strategy when winding up their RRSP at age 71. Meet Carol, 71, and Brian, age 70. They're both retired teachers, have $1.2 million in RRSPs. To balance the security and flexibility, they split their funds. $600,000 in a RRIF for adjustable withdrawals, that's $31,680 a year starting, and $600,000 in an annuity for guaranteed lifetime income, $38,000 a year. Now, this hybrid approach, it ensures that they have predictable income from the annuity while keeping the RRIF funds liquid for unexpected costs. That's a smart mix of stability and control. Now, David, 71, and Susan, 65, they are also retired. David has a $600,000 RRSP and he converts it into a RRIF. But instead of using his own age, he elects to base the withdrawals on Susan's age, 65, and that lowers the required minimum withdrawal and it keeps more savings tax deferred. He also splits his RRIF withdrawals with Susan. That further reduces their combined tax bill. So this simple adjustment here, it helps maximize the tax efficiency and preserve retirement savings. Now, Margaret, she's age 71, she's a retired nurse, and she prioritizes stability over market risk. So she splits her $800,000 RRSP, $500,000 into a life annuity, $30,000 a year guaranteed income, and $300,000 into a RRIF for emergency liquidity. So this strategy ensures some predictable income for life while keeping some assets flexible. The downside here, annuities do lock in those funds, so she must plan very carefully. Now, case 4, or worst case 4, this is George. He's 71 and he makes a very costly mistake. He withdraws his entire $400,000 RRSP in 1 year, thinking it would be better if he reinvested it in another account. Now, this pushed his taxable income over $400,000, triggered a 46% tax bill. The taxes owed in his case, $180,000. That left only $220,000 after tax. Now, a smarter move here will conversion to a RRIF and gradual withdrawals to avoid excessive taxation. To help you navigate what's best for you, I have put together a summary of all the key takeaways from these RRSP conversion options. You can download that from our website. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen. Deciding between an RRSP and a TFSA depends largely on your current income versus your expected income in the future. Now, if you are in a high tax bracket today, prioritizing an RRSP makes sense because your contributions today will reduce your taxable income now. You can withdraw the funds later, possibly when you're in a lower tax bracket. Now, on the other hand, if your income is lower today, but is expected to rise, then a TFSA may be a better choice. You won't benefit as much from the RRSP tax deductions now, but you'll appreciate the tax-free withdrawals down the road when your income and your tax bracket is higher. But what if your income is unpredictable? For self-employed individuals, freelancers, gig workers who experience income fluctuations, balancing contributions between both accounts can provide greater flexibility. That will allow you to adjust your strategy as your financial situation changes. I want you to meet Sarah. She is a 35-year-old freelance consultant whose income varies between $50,000 and $120,000 per year, depending on the contracts. Now, some years she earns a lot, would benefit from an RRSP contribution to reduce her taxable income. Other years, her income is lower and she values the flexibility of a tax-free savings account and the withdrawals she can get from there. Now, here's what Sarah does. In her higher earning years, 100,000 plus, she prioritizes RRSP contributions. She contributes to an RRSP to lower her taxable income. That reduces her tax bill. She leaves her TFSA investments untouched to keep them growing tax-free. Now, in her low income years, let's say $50,000, in those cases, she uses a TFSA for flexibility. If she needs the funds, she can withdraw from her TFSA, tax-free of course, instead of tapping into her RRSP savings, which then would be taxable. Now, since her tax bracket is lower, she contributes less to her RRSP, carries the forward contribution room for future high income years. For Sarah, by balancing the RRSP and the TFSA contributions over time, she builds both taxable and tax-free retirement savings, and that gives her a lot of flexibility for drawing income out later. For you, it comes down to what works best for you and your family. A key retirement goal is generating reliable income from your RRSP or your RRIF. Now, I want to say thank you to Harvest ETFs for partnering with us in 2025 to bring you this very valuable series. I'm going to share with you how Harvest might be able to help you accomplish your goals. Now, you might want to consider income ETFs to achieve the following objectives. Provide monthly payouts offering a steady income stream, diversifying across sectors and asset classes that reduces your risk, and enhanced income ETFs can even generate tax-free income inside an RRSP and that maximizes efficiency. Now, a fund I want to highlight is the Harvest Healthcare Leaders Income ETF. The ticker is HHL. And this fund has a 10-year track record of providing consistent distributions, and it's the largest active healthcare ETF in Canada. It holds a diversified, equally weighted portfolio of 20 large cap global healthcare companies selected for their potential to provide attractive monthly income and the potential for long-term growth. Now, to enhance the monthly distribution yield, the fund uses an active covered call strategy. You can maximize your retirement savings with the compounding effect of tax advantages of your RRSP, paired with the innovative covered call strategy of Harvest ETFs. This combination generates consistent monthly income while providing opportunities for capital appreciation, ensuring that your investments grow efficiently and work harder to secure a comfortable retirement. Another idea is to combine HHL with HBIG, that's the Harvest Balanced Income and Growth ETF, or HUTL, the Harvest Equal Weight Global Utilities Income ETF. Now, the key benefits here: you get steady cash flow to cover living expenses, you have the potential for growth alongside that income that helps combat inflation, and it simplifies the portfolio management, reducing the need for constant oversight. Harvest has some great retirement-related articles on their website. I will put a link in the description of this video. Not all ETFs are created equal. Assess fees, risks, and alignment with your retirement goals. Your retirement accounts don't just support you, they can also shape your family's financial future. In episode 10 of this series, I'm going to be diving deep into the estate planning strategies that are specifically designed for Canadian retirees. But even now, you might be wondering, what happens if you forget to name a beneficiary on your accounts? Let's break that down. If no qualifying beneficiaries, such as a spouse, a common law partner, a dependent child, is named on the RRSP or the RRIF, the entire remaining balance is added to income on the deceased's final tax return. And this can result in a substantial tax bill, especially if the account holds a large balance. However, if a spouse or eligible child is named as a direct beneficiary, the funds can roll over tax-free into their RRSP or RRIF, and that will avoid any immediate taxation. Now, the TFSA itself is not taxable if someone dies without naming a beneficiary, but any investment growth after the account holder's date of death becomes taxable if the funds are paid to the estate instead of a named beneficiary. However, if a spouse or a common law partner is named as a successor holder, they inherit the TFSA tax-free without it affecting their own contribution room. Now, another thing you have to be concerned about are probate fees. And if an RRSP or a RRIF or a tax-free savings account is paid to the estate instead of directly to a beneficiary, it may be subject to probate fees, depending on the province. Now, this process can delay the transfer of funds. It can increase legal and administrative costs. Thirdly here, estate distribution risks. Funds left to an estate are at risk of being claimed by creditors. They could become entangled in legal disputes if the estate is contested. Now, naming a direct beneficiary ensures that the funds bypass the estate, avoiding these risks and ensuring smoother transfer of the assets. Our last case study of the day is about poor John. John was 78 years old. He had $500,000 in his RRSP, but he didn't name a beneficiary. Now, when he passed away, his entire RRSP balance was added to his taxable income. That created a major tax burden for his estate. The full $500,000, that pushed his estate into the highest tax bracket. That was 33% federal, 13% provincial in Ontario, 46% total tax. So his estate owed $230,000 in taxes. That left only $270,000 for his spouse. Now, if only John had named his spouse as the beneficiary, the RRSP could have been transferred tax-free. He would have avoided this massive tax bill. The lesson here is, in most cases, you want to name your spouse as the direct beneficiary on your RRSPs or your RRIFs. That will ensure a tax-free rollover. If you are leaving your funds to children or other heirs, you have to be aware that the estate must pay the taxes first, and that will reduce the amount that they receive. Now, in the case where you name them directly as a beneficiary, they will get the full amount. But if the estate itself can't pay the taxes, the CRA can come after the children and have them pay for it. As you can see, maximizing your RRSP and your TFSA isn't just about hitting those deadlines. It's about creating a strategy that supports your personal retirement dreams. Review your contribution room, consider how RRIFs might fit into your future, plan for your key retirement risks, and explore income-generating investments that work for you. Thank you once again to Harvest ETFs for supporting this series. Subscribe now so you don't miss our next video. We're going to dive deeper into how you can generate tax-efficient income in retirement, minimize your taxes, and keep your retirement income flowing smoothly. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in episode 3.